CL650 presents your source for leading-edge news and information on today's hottest products and services. This is Experts on Call.
Welcome to StrataLife on CL650's Experts on Call. I'm George Gordon. Key Pacific Property Management, along with a number of trusted strata industry professionals, developing a resource designed to connect strata councils with high-quality, reputable, strata-related service provisions. In simple terms, we call it StrataLife. It is unique. StrataLife is about all things strata. Joining me in the studio, Dan O'Hearn from Key Pacific Property Management. Key Pacific Property Management serving Metro Vancouver since 1998. Also joining us in studio, Yang Fei, the Operations Manager at Strata Engineering, and Caleb Donald, the Project Manager at CanStar Restorations, a busy man these days. On the show today, we have the experts to talk about everything you should know about strata, both if you currently own a home within a strata or if you are considering buying one. We will help you understand what a depreciation report is, the importance of your knowledge about this very important document, and the implications that you should be aware of what happens if you ignore it. As well, we have our restoration expert in studio, and that means that we'll be talking not just about what to do in case of an emergency, but more importantly, what we can do to be better prepared for an emergency. We'll give you some advice on the process when it comes to dealing with an issue like water damage. And you can remember at any time that you need more information. If you have questions, you can send your feedback and ideas to questions@strata.life. So first of all, Dan, Yang, Caleb, welcome to StrataLife. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Dan, first off, please just give us an overview again of Key Pacific Property Management, what you folks are all about.
Well, sure, yeah. We're a boutique management firm. We're located in New Westminster, very central to our clients in Greater Vancouver. Specialize in mostly strata residential projects, but we also do some commercials and rental projects as well.
All right. Yang, tell us a bit about Strata Engineering.
Excellent. So our firm, Strata Engineering, is a multidisciplinary engineering firm that focuses on building envelope, mechanical, and structural engineering. And we deal with a lot of stratas, and also we have a lot of experience, therefore, with the challenges that strata owners face. And we've also experienced with the management issues that come into play in a strata complex where there are multiple stakeholders. So,
all right. And Caleb, tell us about CanStar Restorations. You're telling me that you get done here, and boy, you're off to do an assessment someplace else. A lot of them these days.
On to the next one. Yeah, we're a full restoration company, full service. And we look after, when it comes from water damage to fires to mold to asbestos abatement, all sorts. We look after the contents replacement as well, or moving it to wherever it needs to be. So we're actually quite busy right now, especially with a lot of the rain, but you'd be surprised how much water damage we get that's non-weather related.
Well, we'll talk more about that during our show today. Now, panel, the one thing you hear a lot about right now, if you're considering purchasing a strata, you really need to understand the depreciation report. And I think it's still a bit foreign to most people. They may know what the words are, but they may not know exactly what it is. So let's get the best explanation as to what a depreciation report is. And Dan, will we start with you on that one?
Well, we start with Yang.
Okay, Yang. All right.
well, I put it in the simplest terms. In the simplest terms, a depreciation report is a budgeting tool that guides capital expenditures in a strata corporation. So basically, what a depreciation report does is that it consists of a reserve inventory of common and limited common property within a strata, and it estimates the useful life and the remaining useful life of those components and budgets for projected expenditures over a 30-year period.
Okay, so help me here if I'm wrong, but I want to understand that if I'm getting into a strata, we buy these new units, and we think, oh, well, it's Vancouver. They'll never stop going up in price.
Absolutely.
And so what do I have to worry about a depreciation report? But if I boiled it down to everything starts to wear out eventually and has to be replaced.
Yes.
And there has to be a cost to replace that.
That's right.
And what it was on day one will be different 30 years down the road, or
That's
10
right.
or whatever. So you need to know how much less that property or how much life is left in that original money, and then be able to anticipate what it's going to cost to replace that.
Absolutely. So it will consist of physical inventory and also, of course, a site inspection, right, to determine the current condition of the components. And from then we could predict, or we could give an estimate of how long there will be for the service life of that particular component. So how long it will last, right, towards the end.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a financing tool, right? So
It
you
is.
put in the cost of the replacement plus the cost of inflation, and then
Absolutely.
people have to realize that the maintenance fee they pay today is great for today, but it may not be adequate for future expenditure. So they have to be putting money aside in the CRF.
That's right. So it allows for people to save up and to invest for future expenditures based on the current costs, based on the remaining useful life, right? And you have the future replacement costs. So it allows for the better planning of replacement, expected replacement in a strata corporation.
All right, if I'm considering the purchase of a home within a strata, should I be asking to see this depreciation report first thing? Is that one of the very first things I should be asking about?
Absolutely. That's right. Because the depreciation report has got two main targets. First, prospective owners and current owners. And for prospective owners, it serves as a tool really to decrease the amount of unknown risks present within a strata corporation. Right? So you will go into a strata with a full understanding of all the components, common property components, right, in a strata complex, and also their remaining lifespan and how these components are going to be funded. And in a lot of cases, the depreciation report also provides a brief explanation or recommendation with regards to the current condition of the components as well. So when you're going in, you will be aware of the expected costs in the future.
Well,
So-
Dan, I'm sorry, but Dan, I would think this is critically important if you're the new person moving in, or even if you've been living there for a while, and your strata council is talking about contingency funds and well, maybe not now. You know, like sometimes you'll have real estate investors who don't want to talk about this kind of thing because it might reduce the value of my unit. But it's like the old saying: you pay me now, or you pay me later.
Yeah, all these buildings have operating costs, and I look at it sometimes hot potato financing. People are in it now, but they want to get out before the big expense comes. But the depreciation report is one of those reports that is often forms part of the information documentation that purchasers order. So along with the Form B, there might be engineers' reports and there might be a depreciation report. And yeah, it's a financing tool. It's not to be frightened of. It's to make you aware.
That's right.
I would think that in this climate, I mean, so far, Young, we've talked about things that naturally will wear out over the period of a few years. With the West Coast weather being so wet so much of the time, and water just naturally has a way of taking everything we build up back to Mother Earth sooner or later, that there's a lot that would go into a depreciation report. And does the wet weather affect tall buildings more than any other strata?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just the tall buildings or the lower buildings, but even with the lower buildings, for instance, with buildings of different shapes with less overhang, right, the exterior clad or the exterior of the building is going to take more of a beating in a lot of cases. And so the depreciation report actually takes into account of that, and corresponding service lives are modified to suit the particular climate. So, for instance, a clad that lasts let's say about 25 years, right, in a dry climate, right, in a wet climate, that clad may only last about, let's say, 15-20 years, right? So, or a roof or any other building envelope components, because those are the most weathered components. And yeah, go ahead.
Well, one of the things that I'm sure Caleb Donald with CanStar Restoration sees daily, if not weekly, is the effects of water. And we think, well, what, a little leaking roof, so you fix the roof. Much more complicated than that.
Much more complicated than that, because there's so much more involved. First of all, the property manager has to be aware of how extensive it is. There's a lot of aspects to it. Does it have to be now engineered? Is it just a simple roof leak? How long has it been leaking? Is there other problems inside? Is there mold in a cavity in that? So there's a lot more to it than just, oh, we have a roof leak.
If you are speaking in general terms, say the Strata just got the depreciation report and the recommended cost increases are staggering. You know, what should I do now? I mean, it's like, holy cow, you know, that's a lot of money. Is there a plan? Is there an action? Dan, do you want to take a shot at that one?
Well, there's going to be a few funding models to worry about, and they can either fund it by special levies at intervals that they know. They can do straight line funding where they can make payments into the CRF, and then as the repairs are necessary, they draw down on the CRF. Or they can not fund it at all, and often that's an option a lot of people adopt.
Unfortunately,
right?
Yeah.
And I suppose if you don't ask the right questions as a purchaser, for example, and if you don't do your due diligence and checking out, you know, the report, you may miss the fact that you're buying something, and now you're going to face a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 assessment for something you didn't or maybe should have known about.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yep. That's right.
Is this something that more people? I mean, it's been around since you said about 2007, 2008, in around there. I know when we purchased our first Strata, I didn't hear about it. We're purchasing a new one now, and if it's not there, should it automatically be there in the information that you get from, say, a builder?
Not automatic. It's going to depend if the corporation has decided that they're going to do it. Right, but it is automatic that the corporation has to consider it and then vote on whether they're going to have it done or not.
That's right.
So it pay due diligence here, folks.
Yeah.
You know, ask now, not later. Look, if we're going to be back in just a moment here, we're going to talk about the possibility that a Strata, say, is talking about roofs replacing balconies, and is it cheaper to get a contractor, just a roofer, to come in, or do we really need an engineer? More information coming up on Key Pacific's StrataLife on CIL 650, and you can get more information at strata.life. Your feedback and ideas to questions at strata.life.
This is Experts on Call on CIL 650.